Well, it looks like Restream is back, which is good because Restream was all kinds of technical difficulties yesterday getting my stream up using Restream. Yesterday I just had to stream straight to YouTube. There was no TikTok stream yesterday. Yeah, what's up guys? I'm back. Gonna take about an hour here before I go and pick up my kiddos. I'm gonna try to speed run an enhancement that that I need to make to a little console application. So we'll see how that goes. It may go good, it may go bad, I may fail utterly. We'll see. Let's see. Oh, I should also update my Let's go to lunch. Here we go. Let's lock in. Okay, so we need to add support for setting and configuring the user tier value. That's what we need to do. Okay, so need to go into here. And basically what we're looking to do, actually I'm going to do this in a different one. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna do it here. Let's see. So, okay, the name can't change. So I just basically need to get this field, and then I need to figure out what values are here and make sure they're valid. Okay, I can do that. Let's see. Well, no, yeah, no default value. Okay, so the first thing we need to do in my application is we need to go into this guy. We need to get the latest. Get branch R. Okay, get remote prune GitHub. And then let's check out a new branch. Get checkout B Stephen Freeborn feature add user tier config. In Vim. Yeah, in Vim. How are y'all doing today? Good? Anybody here yet? It's kind of an odd time for a stream for me, but this is the time I had, so we're jumping in. So the first thing I need to do is I need to add a setting for this. So it probably needs to live here. Close this guy. Collection initial. Okay, we can do that. What's this? This is complaining about something. I think it's complaining that these are public fields and not properties. That's fine. We can encapsulate it and use a field, and then that's going to complain. We need to use an auto property, which is fine. We'll do the same thing here. Use a property, then use an auto property. Okay, that's fine. We need to add something here that's called public const string user. Let's see, users user tier field. That's terrible naming on my part, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? You can only work with what you got. I guess I'll fix up these other things in here that it's complaining about. I have to remember I have an hour to do this, so I need to stay focused. These are redundant, so that's why I'm removing them. Okay, so I'm thinking with this approach, I take the same approach as I took with the public, as I took with the user status values here, right? So I think I just want to capture these at the beginning. So let's move these constants up here. Oops, up here. And let's move these constants. Whoops. Let's move this one up here. And then there's only 3 valid values here. So, and they're all constant. They can't be changed, or they shouldn't be able to be changed. We should be able to count on them. So it should be users. Full. User tier list value name. Yep. And then there should be a public const string users light, and then there should be a public const string. And if you're following along and you're like, what the heck are you doing? It's okay if it makes no sense at all, because a lot of this is very domain specific language that has to do with one of the systems that my application talks to. What you looking at? Sup, man? How are you? Fairy Wardiato. What's up, man? Sup? I like that. Sup? Sup? Sup, bro? My kids say bro a lot. They say bro. Are you kidding me, bro? They also say, my favorite thing my kids say right now is they say I'm gonna search it up, Dad. I'm gonna search it up. And that's whenever they're referring to like looking up a game or trying to find something. Fairy, have you tried profiling your project in NeoVim? I have not. What's that like? GTT, nice to meet you again. Yes, GTT, nice to see you again. Your name is very recognizable, that's for sure. I'm curious how you would say your username or how you would pronounce that. Like, I almost want you to make a short and post it that shows you pronouncing it so I can learn how to pronounce it. I'm not even sure what. So, Fairy, when you say profile your project in NeoVim, are you saying you're profiling how NeoVim handles the project? Or are you saying you're actually profiling the actual C# application, like what you would typically do in something like Visual Studio? In Visual Studio, that's the only. I've only used Visual Studio to do profiling stuff on an app, and I'm thinking of like profiling for like performance reasons or memory usage reasons. And even there, my knowledge about how to do it is like yay big, because I never have to do it that often. It's getting kind of shiny in here too. Okay, back to my uncompleted Okay, and then my user, I'm going to let my user set a what do I want to let them set? In the config, I want them to be able to pick yeah. So down here, we're going to have some getters and setters here. We're going to have a getter for kind of feel like now I'm pausing. What are you making today? I'm working on implementing GTT. I'm working on implementing an enhancement for that same. I don't know if you were here last time, but it's basically an application that moves data from one place to the other, and I'm working on adding a piece of functionality that lets users configure a default value for a particular field. That's a part of this application. So it's not anything terribly exciting. But yeah, that's what we're doing. Okay, so I think this needs to be added as a required field. Well, honestly, I don't know, because I think sometimes it's not required. There are cases where it's not required. GTT sounds interesting, but I have no idea what it is. Yeah, it's super dope. So here, at a high level, I can give you like a high level overview. This means I'm probably not going to complete the feature on stream because I'm pausing, but I don't really care. I'd rather talk to you guys. Where is it? It's basically this. So there's a piece of software over here called OnSpring. And then there's a piece of software over here that's called Azure Active Directory, which basically is a place. I guess now it's actually called Azure Intra ID is actually what it's called. And a lot of companies and organizations use this to manage their users and their groups and like the hierarchy there. So, and OnSpring also has a user and group model. So, it's common that people want to be able to leverage what they already have here, the data and information that they already have here, and they just want to be able to sync it from Azure over to OnSpring. And so that's what my application allows people to do. Is my application basically sits in the middle. It's just a console app, right? So you can imagine you run it on some sort of batch schedule, like every couple hours or something like that. It could be more frequent than that, but imagine you're running it like once a day. And so my app just sits in the middle, my app, and it just moves the data from here to over there. So it's very like, I mean, you could almost say, hey, that's a script, and it kind of is a script. The only thing that's unique about this app is it allows people to provide a configuration file. So you can provide like a JSON file that has configuration in it, and that will change what the app does, right? That will like change what data it will move and things like that, which makes the app a little bit more complex, right? Because it's not just like a script that someone runs. It's like it's basically a binary and executable that you pass this configuration to change what it does and what data it moves around. Fairy says, in PHP, I usually use What you looking at? Himbro says that's so hot, and then what you looking at said, you mean thank you, I'm so hot. Fairy, in PHP, I usually use cache grind to view profile or trace. With VS Code, there's a plugin to start the profiler and open trace file once it's done. I'm just curious, how is it possible to do an envim since the DAP adapter has the ability to profile as well? Oh, interesting. So that might be an interesting rabbit hole for us to go down on a stream, Fairy, because I haven't actually thought about that. How would I let me put that down as a, let me write that down because otherwise I'll forget. So, and I've actually never profiled in VS Code, Fairy, so I need to go check that out. So investigate profiling.net, or I guess you're using PHP, Fairy, and I'm using .net. But I'm guessing whatever I learn from checking out .net profiling would probably be applicable to PHP. So investigate profiling.net in NeoVim. What does that look like? Yeah, I'll do some research on that, and if I mean I can do it on stream too, but if I come up with anything that's more concrete than that, I can make a things to look at on stream. I know, very sophisticated naming I have here. Yeah, we can take a look at that for you. I don't know off the top of my head though. I don't have a good answer at the moment. Himbro. Okay, Himbro's getting a little out of pocket. Mohammed. Hi, what's up, Mohammed? I shall now tell you what to do. Hey, Rodolfo. Good to see you again, man. Since the debug adapter protocol is mainly developed for VS Code, I'm having a hard time figuring out the implementation in NeoVim. Yeah, if I had to guess, in order to do it, Fairy, we'd have to probably figure it out ourselves, maybe. Because even I mean, that's the thing, that's been the biggest eye-opening thing about kind of going down the NeoVim rabbit hole, is it seems like a lot of people who work in NeoVim don't do a lot of debugging. They don't do a lot of what's the word? They don't do very sophisticated things with their editor that you would think of doing with Visual Studio or VS Code. They seem to debug a lot with print statements, console logs, which is definitely a strategy. So even test runners don't really seem to be a thing. There's just not a lot of resources out there for how to get it to work. Which is kind of weird, in my opinion. So, but we'll see. We'll see. We can take a look at it for sure, man. If I find anything out, I'll pass it along. Let's see. There's envim plugin called snacks.envim that has ability to view profiles, so trace file. But I'm not sure, is it just for Lua or can be used to another languages or tools as well? Yeah. I'm not familiar how all the profiling tracing works, so I don't even know if there's a common protocol like DAP for it, right? Because it seems like you'd have to have some sort of common spoken language among the different pieces of software to be able to present that info in NeoVim, right? I mean, that's in the .NET world, that's one part, I think, of the .NET world that isn't open source. I don't think Visual Studio's debugger and profile is open source. So I think that, I don't know, that might take us down a rabbit hole, but I think it'd be a fun rabbit hole to go down, so happy to do it. Rodolfo says, but first I must point out that you are in love with me. No, I'm not. Oopsie, I hope I didn't go too far. Thanks, Anderson. Over. I'll read about it today. Yeah, it's a very domain specific problem for a very specific small group of people, enterprise-y people that are using a particular set of software, right? And one of the software is made by the company I work for. So that's why I wrote the app originally, was because I wanted to do something with the Microsoft Graph API. And so this was a problem I understood and could solve. And that's how. And so now some other people on the interwebs have found it, and so now I'm trying to take the feedback they're giving and actually implement it in the app when I have free time. Yeah. Yep. Okay, where was I feel like I lost my way here. So basically, I added some constants here. Um, and basically, I need to resolve these kind of very early on in the life of the app. I need to set these values. And I think I can just follow the approach I already have. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. I'm not sure it's helping, but I'm thinking. Let's see. Do you guys know Slack's down? Do any people use Slack? I guess it's a pretty big deal. A lot of people. I've seen a lot of memes and news stories about it today. And I've been able to use it okay today myself on at least one of my computers, but I do have an issue with it on my other computer. I could never get signed in. It works fine on the phone too, but apparently they're having a little bit of an outage. I'm not jealous of their situation. Did my chat die? The chat went very quiet, which makes me think. Award to the longest variable names go to you. Yeah, I kind of very explicit, especially with the properties. I don't know. I don't get too hung up on lengths. I name it what I think it needs to be named. You know. And I kind of err on the side of being overly descriptive. CA, which I'm sure for some people it tilts them, but yeah, for me it is what it is. I kind of feel like this field needs to be added as a required field. So I'm going to add it. Users. User tier field. That makes so much sense. But the thing is it's not really required. It's only required if it's present. So it doesn't really go there. This needs to be kind of resolved at runtime to figure out if it's required or not. So let's move on. Okay, so let's move off that. So once we have the setting defined, then we need to set the values. So I think I do that in the I think I do it in the processor at some point. So let's see. This is kind of the entry point. The syncer is kind of the entry point of the app. So has valid group filters. Then we verify our connections. Then we get on-spring group fields. We get on-spring user fields. And then we set some default mappings. Then we make sure the mappings are valid, which is fine. And then we sync. So where do I must do it in here. Go to Dish. Hold on. Go back. Clay says, yo, Toad Sage says, "Yo, man, what's up, guys? How are you?" Let's see, James Martin, what you doing? I am working on the description in my stream says I'm gonna speed run an enhancement for a particular application. So not to bore people that have been here already, but the application I'm working on, James, it's basically just a sync. So it moves data from one place into another place, and it takes in some configuration in order to do that. So we're working on adding a piece of functionality to the app, basically extending the configuration options to change the behavior of the app. Let's see. Clay, Tom says, "Oh, coder." Tom says, "Are you a developer?" Tom, I don't want to be a pretender. I am not a paid developer, so my title at work is not developer or software engineer. It's my title at work is quality engineer. However, if you would consider me a developer in the sense that I built a lot of my own projects on the side, right? So I guess you could say I'm a developer in that sense. I can develop things. I can build things. I just currently don't earn a living doing it. I just do it for fun and as a passion and as something I'm interested in. Toad Sage says, "Well and good. What about you?" I'm good, man. Things have been a little overwhelming lately, just with my wife. I don't know if anybody was here when I gave that update on Monday. My wife broke her toe on Monday, and so she's kind of on crutches and non-weight bearing, and so it's just been trying to find a balance, right, between work and doing stuff around the house and taking care of the kids and stuff like that. So it's been a little overwhelming because work's picked up. Work's been real busy lately, but that's how it goes. Life has ebbs and flows, seasons. Things get busy, things slow down. Just gotta take it in stride. Hunter says, "Sup?" Hey Hunter, how are you, man? Good to see you again. Thanks for coming and hanging out. And I should probably tell you guys, I'm planning, if you guys just got here, I am planning to stream till about 3, and then I have to go pick up my kids. So just a heads up there. Okay, this is syncing users. But somewhere in here we set the list values. Maybe it would be helpful if I wrote this app like 2 years ago, and so it's been quite a journey to figure out what 2-year ago me was thinking when they wrote this thing. Like I see, there's a lot I see that I did that like now I'm like, oh, I would not do it this way now, but it is what it is, I mean, that's a sign of growth, right? Like you learn things. What am I trying to I'm trying to find a reference to this guy, right? These list values, I think I resolved these through API requests, and I set them pretty early. Let's see. Those are all unit tests. Yeah, here we go. So set status list values. When do we call this? Where do we call this at? We call this in the processor. And specifically, we call it set default users field mappings. Okay, so this is where we're going to do that. So We just need to add basically another check in here. Yeah, we just need to add another check in here. Hold on, sorry guys, I missed some of your comments. I apologize. Hi, so are you gonna auto sync, like listen to events that start sync process without the user running the script on a schedule or manually? The intention is, so the way the app is published is it's published on GitHub as just a single executable, Toplo, I think that's how you say your name. So it's published as a single like executable for Linux, Mac, and Windows. And the idea is that somebody can then take that executable, pass a configuration file to it, and they can just run it as a scheduled task, essentially. Because I don't want to host it. I don't want to provide the compute to run this type of an integration. They can use their own hardware, their own compute, but they don't have to figure out how to talk to the two different systems and how does the logic work. And they can just that's the value of the application, right? Is it has all that logic baked into it. Someone says break my bones but don't break my heart. Nice. Okay, I don't know how to say your username. Tom says how to learn coding. I tried but I failed. I don't know what the coding really is unable to get the concept. Toad, let me skip down some of these comments, then I'll come back to that question. Toad Sage, yeah, you mentioned that about your wife. Yeah, it's too bad, man. But she's doing better now. She's healing. Still a little painful. Udubar Restaurant, can you be my mentor, please? Udubar, I'm happy to offer any advice. What are you kind of looking? What are you looking to have a mentor for? Football Do, what you coding? I am coding Football Do. I'm coding a little app that moves data between two different systems. So it's kind of like I call it like a sync, like a syncer, is the name I've come up with for it. It's not earth shattering. Cooper Keller, hi. Remember me? I do remember you, Cooper. Thanks for stopping in, man. I appreciate it. Football Do, is this Java? Or I guess you didn't say is this Java, but I think that's what you're asking is what I'm writing Java. It's not Java. It is C#. But if you what was I gonna say? If you believe the memes, right? C# was Microsoft's response to Java, so it makes sense that they kind of look alike. I've not written any Java before in my life, though. Football Do. That would be fun. I think a fun story arc on stream is Steven trying to learn Java at some point. Topolo says, Tom, start with HTML, CSS, then you'll move to JS. Once you see your beautiful work, you'll be motivated. I kind of agree with Topolo right here in terms of where you should start, Tom. If you're interested in learning to code, the place I always point everyone to, because it's free and because I used it and I think it's great, is Free Code Camp. Well, you don't have to do their machine learning program, but they have several curriculums, and I kind of agree with Topolo. Start with the web design, start with HTML, CSS, then move into JS and go from there. And I agree with what he said about the feedback loop. The ability to be able to make changes and see your changes have effect, to me, is the unlock. That tight feedback loop is what makes it a lot easier to learn and stick with it. And then you can kind of go where you want from there. I also, if you're curious, Tom, I made a video on my YouTube channel. If you go to my channel, there's a video on here. Actually, I'll just post it in the chat if you're interested. Let's see, where is it? It's a couple back. This one right here. It's basically just my story of like how I learned to code, if you're curious, and it's got some advice in there if you're someone who's looking to learn how to code. So you might find that helpful, Tom. It's a very long and deep, dark rabbit hole, right? So there's lots of ways you can go about it. Football Do says, start with what you want to code. If you don't want to code web, start with something else. And what Football Do said is that's a completely viable option too, right? If you want to do game development or something like that, you can totally do that. I just feel like something visual is really nice. Is a nice place to start. Like obviously, like what I'm doing right now, there's nothing visual to it. It's all just, it's all just moving data between two different places. There's no GUI. It's all just on a terminal. That's probably not the best place to start to get you really interested. I also agree with Football Do about having something you want to code, like have a problem you want to solve, is a good motivator. See, Pickle says, when can we make... Hey, Pickle. We're not going to be doing that, Pickle, but thank you for stopping into the stream and saying hi. It's very nice of you. Okay, so we basically need to do this. We basically need to say if... I'm also going to clean these up. Like, I feel like I can clean this up a little bit. These if statements, probably not. Like, I could definitely wrap these into some sort of extension method and just say, like, on Spring Field is username field. On Spring Field is something or other. I don't need to have these redundant. Or they could be private methods too. But I kind of like the way extension methods look. But I'm not going to get hung up on that at the moment. Let's just do if. And also I might have to, if my wife texts me, I'm kind of watching my phone. If my wife texts me, I might have to run away from the stream for a second, but I'll come back. I'm playing caregiver at the moment. Let's see. So we need to check basically the same things as we're checking above. Yeah, Copilot's basically on the right path here. But we also want to check if it's a list field. Because theoretically well, no, we want to narrow this so that we can count on it being a list field. And then we should be able to say settings.onSpring.userTier field. Why is that complaining? Oh, I think it's because I haven't written everything out. There, what? Oh, I guess I didn't actually put in, yeah, I guess I do need a field ID here. Public int users user tier field ID. Yeah. Let's see. Where were we? Here? Yeah. And then we need to also call a method that's like set user tier list values like that, which we haven't implemented yet. Football Do, if you see progress is good, you can do web or games or something you're excited about. Yeah, I completely agree with Football Do. That guy, he's a wise man. Hey Steven, have you tried, is that DiceDB? I've never heard of that. Is that a real thing or are you just playing with me? Dice database. Access our resume database. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I also can't pronounce your username, which I apologize. I don't read that language. Let's see, Evan. Yo, long time no see. I'd be at break time currently. Hey, Evan, dude. Congratulations, man. I remember 2 weeks ago when you were stressed about getting a job, Evan, and here you are. You're on break, man. So You should be excited, dude. You're making progress. It's real, man. Okay, so what's it called? Dice. Is this are you talking? I don't know what you're talking about. Can you share a link or? Oh, hold on. This. It's me, ToadSage. Just changed the username. Oh, why'd you do that, ToadSage? Is this what you're talking about, ToadSage? This right here? DiceDB is a open source in-memory database with query subscriptions. Looks like it's built in Go, so I don't know Go, so I won't be able to contribute. But I have never heard of this, nor have I tried it. Okay, so it's in memory. Interesting. So what's the application here, ToadSage? For an in-memory database like this, is this like you'd use it like you would use Redis? But I think Redis can have be persistent, right? It's not just in memory. Yeah, so I'm curious, where have you, like, what would you use this for? Oh, there's a website. An open source in-memory database with query, Docker run. It's reactive. Oh, so it has, okay. So is this kind of has a similar, yeah, nice. Yep. This is similar to, yeah, it's faster than Redis because of core. Okay, so it's faster than Redis. So yeah, so you'd use it more like a caching layer, I guess, since it's in memory. Because you definitely wouldn't want to put any persistent data here, right? This would be... Interesting. I'll have to try this out. I'll have to make time to explore this. Oh, they have some quick starts. Okay, cool. Man, there's just so much cool technology out there. Topolo says, I recommend Go. It's fun. Yeah, I see. I watched the Primogen, if you guys are familiar with him. And I watch him write Go, and I think, man, that looks like a cool language. Clay says, I'm supposed to be asleep. Nice, Clay. So yeah, I'm back. I've not been able to talk to you for a while. The reason why is because I've been stressed out, made a mistake. Yeah, sounds like you got a lot going on, Evan, but I'm glad you got the job and you're making progress towards your goals, man. I'm cheering for you, man. Rooting for you. Yeah, so this is interesting. Okay, so we're gonna add this to our list. So we need to investigate profiling.net NeoVim. Let's say not investigate, but try using DiceDB. So, but what it sounded like in that whole like article right here, the reactivity article, is this gives you a lot of that same functionality that you get from Convex, which has a similar idea. It's a reactive database by design. But it uses a persistent backing store. So it uses SQLite by default, but you can wire it up to RemoteDB. But it has the same idea. Probably not the same exact implementation, but it's the same idea where you have like a listener, where like the client has a persistent WebSocket connection to your back end, and so whenever a row in the DB changes, the server pushes right to the client through the WebSocket. It's just kind of cool. Okay. Yeah, thanks for the recommendation, ToadSage. I appreciate it. We'll put that on the list. I already put it on the list, actually. Okay, let's set user tier List values. Oh, we should also... we're gonna have to have, because sometimes the user tier doesn't exist. So we're gonna have to account for that case where there's a really bad glare on my screen right now. I'm fighting through it for you guys though. What is list value? Here we go. Set status list values. So I basically want to do this. Ah, oh, god dang it. Set status list values. Okay, so I basically want to do the same kind of work, but I need to do it with a different set of So we'll yank that. Let's give ourselves a new method down here. Put it right there. This is going to be set user tier. Let's see. Yeah, it's somewhat same. Yeah, Toadsage, I totally see the similarity. The creator of this is Arpit Bihiyani, a man. That person is damn good in system design. I was watching his videos on that the other day. Oh, I don't know who that guy is. Let me look him up real quick. I've completely lost sight of speedrunning this enhancement. Oh, he's ex-Google, ex-Amazon. Oh, wow. So obviously he's probably a pretty impressive engineer. Oh, he's at Google. So this is the kind of guy who's like, he builds databases for fun in his free time, and I'm the person who struggles to read the docs to figure out how to use the database. I'm gonna give him a follow on LinkedIn. He's on GitHub too. Maybe he can teach me something, huh? Looks like he's got a YouTube channel too. Alright. Yeah, thanks for the recommendation, man. Looks like he's got some good content. He probably can teach me a thing or two for sure, for sure. Let's see, Clay and Evan, I think you guys are talking. Toplo, happy coding. Bye, guys. See you, Toplo. Thanks for hanging out, man. Which, yeah, and I should just, again, just if you just got here or you haven't been here or weren't here when I said it, I'm going to stream till about 3, and then I got to go get pick up my kids from school. Pick up the kids from school. Okay, so this logic is wrong. So this needs to be renamed to be user tier list field. But the work is the same. So this is going to be users full user tier. And this is going to be, actually we can also, because these are, can I do this? I think I can do this because it's a constant. I can do the is. I really like the is keyword in C#. unable to find list value, name, and field, and on spring. Okay, so this would actually be, yeah, and let's rename these values. So this is actually going to be light user list value. And this is going to be this is going to be, do you need help, honey? Do you need help? This is gonna be full user list value. And then there's actually another value here. So this is gonna be var portal user list value. But I don't want to, if I can't find these, I don't want to throw. Actually, I do want to throw if I, so this I don't need to throw here. But I just want to, I should just log a warning probably. Because some of this stuff is optional. Depending on the system, the state of the thing I'm talking to, it could be there, it could not be there. Evan, what time is it for you? It is 2:52. Evan, it's 2:50. Yeah, so yeah, you're in Iowa, Evan. I'm in Kansas, so we're in the same time zone. Or I think you're in Iowa, Evan. That's what I remember you telling me one time. If you want content, then you can also browse Hussein Nasser for backend stuff. And sorry for distributing you again. I think you mean disturbing, right? Disturbing me? No, you're not disturbing me, man. That's the whole. I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, if you're gonna stream, like the main reason you're streaming is to obviously interact with your chat, right? So I'm definitely gonna prioritize interacting with you guys over anything that I'm working on. Because if this really needed to get done, I probably don't do it on stream, right? So yeah, you're never disturbing me with some chat. Hussein Nasser. All right, cool. My YouTube subscriptions continue to grow. My YouTube is a really weird place because it's like a mix of code and programming, and then a big mix of exercise and fitness, and then some random gaming channels thrown in there. It's a very odd place to find oneself, but it accurately represents me. It's an accurate reflection of me. Evan, cool. Evan, isn't it weird how there's more likes than there are viewers? I meant to say likes. Oh, well, I'm guessing people will see me stream and will just throw up a like, but they can't stay and hang out probably, if I had to guess. That's why. I mean, honestly, I don't know. But Evan, I don't see that, Evan. I actually see fewer likes than viewers. So I see 10 viewers, but I see one. Oh, hold on. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. I might be looking at the wrong thing. Hold on. I guess I actually can't see how many likes there are. I guess I need to go to the live version. But I don't pay attention to that stuff that much, honestly, Evan. If people want to hang out, and they want to fuck with the stuff that I'm doing, that's great. But if not, no shade either. You know what I mean? Oh, 9 likes. Okay, yeah. Well, I see 11 viewers and 9 likes, so that's pretty good. Darren. I'm not sure how to take your comment there, Darren. I will tell you a story, Darren. Ever since I was like little, I've always been super self-conscious about my voice. Um, like everyone always made fun of my voice because it's kind of nasally, which meant that like for most of my growing up years, I did not talk a whole lot. Like I just was few words. Um, okay, Darren, I'm booting you, Darren, but I'm gonna finish telling this story. Um, uh, oh, what was so I was saying that my voice is kind of nasally, and so I just was always self conscious to talk a lot. And when I got out of college, or not college, when I got out of high school, I started working as a personal trainer, and so talking a lot was kind of mandatory. uh, so one of the reasons I started making content was to help me get over this self consciousness I had about the sound of my own voice. And when you make content, you have to very quickly get over it because listen to yourself. You're gonna listen to yourself talking to make the content, and then you're gonna have to listen to it again when you edit the content and post the content. And that largely helped me just get over that self consciousness I had. Let's see. Evan says, for me, there are 5 viewers and 10 likes. Interesting. Yeah, the statistics are all over the place. Let's see. Toad says, "Man, I'm just curious. What does your YT algorithm look like?" Like I said, it's just kind of all over the place. There's some exercise content in there. There's a lot of programming and coding content. There's music, obviously, like stuff I like to listen to. Like there's Kent C. Dodds. Do you guys know who Kent C. Dodds is? I really, really enjoy his content. There's some YouTube creator content that obviously shows up. I like lo-fi music, so there's quite a few lo-fi. And then obviously there's the random like game stream channels. Here's a Sam Solik video. Yeah, so it's kind of a hodgepodge of stuff. It's like Pirate Soft. Oh no, that's 6 days ago. But yeah, it's kind of a random hodgepodge of stuff. But it does reflect me, you know. It reflects my interests. Which I think is something we all forget about a lot, is that I think it's easy for people to forget that like their TikTok For You page or their YouTube recommendations page is not everyone else's, right? Evan, sorry I have to go to work. No worries, Evan. Have a good rest of your work day, man. I'm 2 minutes away from having to jump off because I got to run and pick up the kiddos. So no problem at all, Evan. I hope you have a good rest of your day, man. Okay, so actually here I want to throw. So if I can't find this, then there's something wrong. Because if I have the user tier field, I should have the full user, because that's just the default, and it should be there. Let's see if I can wrap this up in 2 minutes. That's not gonna happen. Excuse me. Now down here, though, I don't want to throw. I should just warn, like, oh, hey, by the way, you can't find this. Actually, let's just make this debug. And then we also need one for the portal. And this needs to be updated to say... let's see, users, light, user tier, like that. And this also needs to be this also is broken because I shouldn't be using... Oh no, this is fine. This is fine. And then we just need to set these properly. So, yep, yep, yep. Yeah, I don't know if I like this. I don't know. I think I need to think on this a little bit more. I used to have that, but now I use 4 different accounts for Japanese, coding, lo-fi, travel, astronomical stuff, and exploring new niches. Oh, interesting. So you have separate YouTube accounts to like keep your algorithm clean? Interesting, Toad Sage. I don't know, man. I don't know if I have an appetite for maintaining more than one YouTube account. Oh, it's 3 o'clock. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I gotta jump off here. I'll probably be back. I plan to work out later, so I'll probably stream that after the kiddos go to bed. But this is probably it for me for coding for the day. I have a bunch of stuff I need to work on. That stuff that I can't really stream. So I'll do that tonight. But thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys are having a good, what is it, Wednesday? And I'll see you in the next stream or the next video or the next short. But